and so we don't have any tools yet where we organize things in a tracking system or keep track of things besides putting them in like folders inside of Windows or Excel spreadsheets. So we have a pretty basic system right now.
Okay, so you're basically, if you've got different Excel databases and emails and CVs stored in different folders, and I guess it's kind of a bit all over the place in a sense, and I'm sure it works quite well for you, but I guess you've seen that if you could centralize everything, it's gonna help to kind of focus you guys on the top candidates at the right time, really.
Yeah.
So you are a staffing firm for engineers. Is it based in around Michigan, or do you go across the states or beyond?
Well, we would not. We would like to have a system we could expand into. We've got one location, and the focus is primarily in the Mid-Michigan area. But we have staffed all around too, to different areas to place people in different areas out of state. A lot of different places too. But we'd like to have a system that would be available if we had different locations even too, and they could all work together.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, so are you kind of recruiting for the kind of heavy engineering industry in Michigan, in Detroit, places like that?
Yeah.
Good stuff. So what kind of, just out of interest, what kind of advertising do you do to attract candidates? How do you go about finding the candidates for the positions?
We really just, it's mostly word of mouth right now. We like to develop that more. We need to do more on our sales and marketing. That's mostly it is mostly word of mouth, really. We don't do many cold calls or different things or put advertisements much out there besides a lot of work. We know the industry really well that we work in.
Sure. Well, I'm sure it sounds like you guys are doing a good job, so you probably get people coming back again and again, and that keeps you busy, I guess.
Yeah.
And the cold calls are always something that we all like to put off as long as possible. But no, good stuff. Well, I mean, the good news is that as you probably know, the technology's moved on really quickly from the old days, where it was very kind of expensive and complicated to get a recruitment platform up and running. And that means that you can now kind of lease the systems, and they're off the shelf. And we think what we're doing is the most kind of integrated and centralized recruitment platform out there. What we're trying to do, really, we're trying to keep it simple for you, for recruitment agencies, so that you can focus on, what you do best, which is, speaking to the candidates, finding out what they're about, matching them with the jobs, rather than having to go and do the admin day to day and things like manually processing applications and CVs. So we're trying to give you a central place, which is your recruitment site, your Recsite, where you can all log in and you can manage your own jobs, you can manage your own candidates, you can share notes, you can collaborate, you can see the history. But also what's quite cool about Recsite is that you also let the candidates register on your recruitment website and profile themselves, so that you're saving yourself the process of doing that. And you can then go in and you can edit their profile and you can update information, and as you speak to them, you can keep their records up to date, and you can also let them update their records as well. So you're kind of communicating and engaging with the people that are looking to find work, with you. So that's the idea. So I'll give you a quick run through of how the system works, and you can, let me know if you think it's the kind of thing that you're looking for. So this example site here, this is just a demo website. It's a very simple template. The look and feel of your website can be anything you like, so that the world is your oyster in that respect. We do have a choice of templates that we can give you, and we can adapt those templates with your brand and your colours and your logo and things like that. Or we can integrate with your existing websites. That's another option. or you can create something bespoke where our graphic designers will work with you to do that. And it's that's obviously the ideal scenario, but it all depends on your budget and what you're looking to achieve. What you can also do, and especially as a staffing company, you can make this website, your full corporate site where you can have all the content facing towards clients as well as facing towards candidates, and it just gives your website a full kind of interactive feeling, and it looks really totally professional. Makes you appear really as a larger business than perhaps you may be, because it's using some of the latest technology that you would find in those really big recruitment agencies or job boards. So it's quite good in that respect. So this just is a simple demo which just gives you an idea on the front end website what type of features you would have. So for example, you've got here the quick search facility at the top here. So this demo site anyone can log into. So there's some rather odd locations that have been added here. Mexico City, Takoradi, God knows where these places are, but we let people kind of play around with the system. So the good news is you can manage your locations yourself as you perhaps get a job in a new state or a new area. You can easily just add that as you go. So you can manage all locations, and those locations are visible throughout the site. So when a candidate registers in the front end job search here, but also when you're searching for candidates and when you're posting jobs. And also we match those locations up when you post out to job boards as well. Then you've got the job industries here. So you've got two tiers. So you choose the first core industry, and then if there has been sub-industries added, you then have corresponding sub-industries, which some people call job positions or subsectors, but essentially you can manage this full list, and then this will show up all of the jobs in that area. So in terms of the job advert page, now this is quite simple. This is obviously it should have a full description here, but it's just a sample job. But it lets people share the job on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Quite a good way in certain groups to get the word out about the job. They can email to a friend, they can add to a short list, they can view similar jobs. In terms of applying for the job, you can. The key difference, I suppose, with Recsite is that every candidate has to register with you to apply for a job that they see on your website. So as soon as they do that, they're stored, forever, unless they choose to delete their profile or you guys archive them. So you're making sure that each application is building your database automatically, if you like. Do you see it? Do you see how that can help you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So once you go through, let's just do this as an example here. There's two types of application. You can do a quick application, which just lets the candidate upload a CV and gives their contact details, and then they're registered automatically. Or a full application is you're asking them to provide more information here, which is good for you in the sense that you're getting the information from the candidate that you would want, without having to necessarily take all of that information over the phone. So that you can add their Facebook link, Twitter, LinkedIn, things like that. I'm not sure how much engineers. I know engineers do like to talk on the social networks. There's a big website called Engineer Talk, which I know is quite popular.
Mhm.
So if we upload a sample CV here. Candidates can also upload covering letters and things like that. And in terms of profiling themselves here, they can give you their availability, what their desired job salary is, and all of this information, which obviously then matches them up with jobs that you've got in your database.
Oh, okay.
And then they can also add employment history, qualifications, references as well. References can be quite useful for you in terms of, checking out people's references once they're on the system.
Mm-hmm.
But also you can set it so that people upload a Word CV and it will automatically pass the contents of that CV into the database, helping to speed up that process as well. So once that application's gone through, the candidate's taken to a candidate zone where they can see recommended jobs, they can browse other jobs in their industry sector, they can build their profile a bit more, they can track the status of their application as well, and they can update the CV, when they want to. So from a candidate side of view, you've got this full functionality which, really helps to save you time, and it gives people an incentive to register with you, and it makes sure that you can keep up to date with people's availability and their latest CV as well. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
do you get a clear idea about how that would work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that may be more than what you were looking for. It's something that not everybody uses, but more and more people are realising that if you let the candidates do some of that work in terms of registering themselves, you can really save yourself time, but also get the latest information and make sure it's all up to date.
Mm-hmm.
So to give you an idea here, I'm going to log in as an administrator. So this is you as a recruiter, logging in from anywhere, into your own recruitment site. So we would build you the front end recruitment site as well as letting you log in as a recruiter as well. So here you'd see just an overview of the activity on the site. This is a demo site, so there's not a huge amount of activity in terms of candidates applying for jobs, as you would imagine. But you can see for different people who work in your company how many vacancies they've published, how many candidates have been assigned to them as well. You can see recent vacancies, recent registrations, and you can actually build your own profile on the site as well. You can manually add CVs, which uses the CV parsing facility to take the contents out. We can actually import your old CVs if you've got for example, a folder with lots of Word CVs. We can import that into the system. But if we have a look at the vacancies, because this is the kind of key thing really, you can post the jobs on there. The more jobs you post, the easier it is to market your website, to get the traffic from the search engines, from other sites as well. So this is a job that's been posted. You can see there's been one application. As you would post the job, if the location that you're looking for is not there, you can just add it as you go. Equally with the industries and the job positions. You can be very detailed in terms of the information on each job. This helps you when you're matching the job on other job boards as well, because they have to have information like salary type and salary range. You've got start date. You can assign jobs to different people within the company. You can make it a full registration job or a quick apply job. Equally, you can add opening questions that have to be answered as part of the application process if you want to screen and filter people that way. And then, once it's saved, this job's updated. In terms of screening questions here, you can add screening questions which have to be answered correctly for the application to go through. This is a good way to save, time wasters and people that are totally irrelevant applying for your job. So some people might say, have you got a valid US visa, or have you got experience in the engineering industry, things like that. You can add open questions which are answers that are included in the application. And then here, post to external sites, this is how you would get the job out to the job boards that you're looking to work with. So it's literally one click from here, once it's set up for that job board, and your job's posted onto the partner job boards that you guys work with. So it's a very quick process. You're talking about a couple of minutes to post a job. Instantly you can send that out to the job search engines like Indeed, Trovit, Simply Hired. If you're using job boards like Career Engineer, we can integrate with them. and also you can send it out to social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, if you've got accounts with them. Now that obviously saves you time. That gets people looking at the jobs quickly and easily, but also it helps market your website because it's building links from other websites to your site, which helps you with your optimization of your site as well. So it's constantly growing, constantly building the audience, engineers who are finding out about you, registering with you, on the system as well. Once people have applied for jobs, they're then stored in the candidates database, and you can search this at any time. So these are candidates that have been specifically assigned to me, but I can search all candidates by keyword, which will search everything in their CV, their notes, location. So I can really drill down into the specific search criteria. I can add notes. I can look at the star rating for the candidates as well. And once you're looking at them, you can email them through the system. That will come from your work email address. All replies will come back to you. Obviously, you can make notes. You can download the CV. You can archive the candidate. You can forward the candidate on to one of your contacts, for example, companies that you work for. And you can download all additional files as well. And you can see past activity. This is what the candidate has done on the website. These are the communications that have been made with them. So you can really track what's going on with each candidate. And you can also see the applications that they've applied for, and you can actually manage here the statuses for the application. So you can really automate that process a great deal. So is that kind of making sense to you, would you say?
Yeah, that's nice.
Does it come across as kind of fairly intuitive and easy to learn and get your head around?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, the other good thing is that you can reject people from job applications, and that will automatically send an email to them. You're communicating with the candidates much more with a system like this because it's actually working, for you in terms of updating the candidate, and really just trying to save you lots of time in terms of all that managing of candidate data. So here as well, you've got a contacts database. So this may be your actual engineering companies that you're staffing for.
Okay.
And equally, you can email them all. So you've got a full email marketing system built in. So you can, for example, search all engineering companies in Detroit. Send them a quick email from here saying we've got this, fantastic candidate. Are you looking? Have you got any opportunities for them? Which does work well. Obviously, some people use that more than others, but it is effective, and that can generate interest and generate placements for you.
Can you search by radius, say maybe if we wanted to search in the Saginaw area or somewhere, and then search 100 miles radius or 50 miles radius maybe?
Sure. Do you mean in the contacts database? So your clients?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can search, but it all depends how you build your locations list. Everything is synchronized through the site, so it matches up the clients who are in, Detroit with candidates that are in Detroit. So you could, search by location. Anyone who fits that location, would come up, and you could contact them all in one go. So there's only one here, but as an example, there could be 500. You select all, and you can ping them an email. But you can't do radius. I mean, you're grouping by location, so you've got to think quite carefully about what are the locations that you would use.
Oh, okay.
But what you can do, what a lot of people do is you use the notes to kind of tag the contact or the client. And I'm not sure if I spelt that correctly, but you can then search using the notes function as well.
Oh, okay.
So you can always tag the clients as you go. You can put keywords in there. For example, engineering maintenance or compliance testing, or whatever it is that particular client specializes in, you can always tag them so that in future that you can search, they're going to come up in that search.
Okay.
And then you can actually automatically forward candidates to the contacts as well. So you can choose which client you want to forward the CV to, and it will automatically send them an email saying, this guy's, could be good for you, and you can track that whole communication as well.
Oh, that is nice. Okay.
So, just to tell you a little bit about the company and the system. So we've got an office in central London. So we're in a place called Farringdon, which is near Liverpool Street. I don't know if you've ever been to London.
No.
No, I haven't.
No, maybe one day you'll come and visit.
Yeah.
But I've never been to Saginaw, so that's maybe one day as well. But we've got an office in central London. There's a team of 8 of us. We've got another small office in Barcelona in Spain, where we actually started the business about 6 years ago, and then we moved back to London. So we've got we're a small company, but we've been doing this for quite a long time, and we've been working with big recruitment agencies, and we've really transformed how they brand themselves online, how they work in terms of managing their candidates and their marketing. So it's got some really good results. The system is on a shared platform, which basically means that any improvement or any change that is done on the system, you would automatically get. So it's constantly evolving, it's constantly improving. So it should really keep helping you to push further and further towards your goals, for your business. So have you guys got any questions at this point?
Can you search keywords within their resume?
Yes. So you can search. Essentially, the way that it works usually. This demo is not configured in quite the same way, but it will automatically pass the CV. So all of the content of the CV will be taken out into the candidate profile, which is searchable. It won't actually search the contents of the file, but because you're passing the CV, all of that data comes into the profile, and it's much more search friendly that way.
Okay.
Because otherwise it starts to become a bit confusing. We found that you just get long list of results, and sometimes it's not as specific as it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We had some questions. Do you know? Did we answer these ones, or did we ask any of these ones?
I think you did send over some questions. Actually, you had a few questions there. Shall I just have a quick look here and see? Actually, I think it was this one.
There's also, and you mentioned you can log in as a client, and you can also log in, or you can log in as a candidate. You can also log in as a client. So like the engineering companies that are our clients can log in and they could have their own portal then?
Well, actually they could. That's something that's a relatively recent development, but we are providing that for a few clients now. So essentially the portal, we provide the portal dimension, so the client can log in, post jobs if you want, and then manage their own applications, and you can assign them candidates which are then visible within their control panel, and that works in a really nice and intuitive way. But it would depend slightly on how much you wanted them to be able to do. For example, you wouldn't necessarily want them to search your entire database, or you may want to. It depends on exactly what type of functionality you would like to offer them, but that is definitely something that we can do for you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
How did you see that working, out of interest?
Oh, well, just, it seemed kind of nice to have a portal where they could log into, and then things like they could post jobs, and maybe not necessarily go directly to our site, but like we'd be the middleman. We would approve the job first,
sure,
and maybe edit it, and then post it onto our our public, like our job board,
Sure.
for them, and that way they could kind of see if it's a big company and say they have a number of positions available at any point in time, they could check our site and see if they have all of them listed that they have possible that are out there
Sure.
and everything. They kind of check their database with ours. The other kind of nice options seem kind of just what we've looked into it. Like we've done a lot of things like thinking on our own in our own meetings internally and everything.
Sure.
And it might be nice to have something like where candidates can, or employees actually could log in and post their hours or time cards, and then they could get approved. The client could log in and approve those time cards. Maybe there might be, it could be an automated process.
Yeah.
That right now we go through, we email or send an invoice, or, things like that. But I could see it going through an online portal, possibly. It's just another feature that, extra add-on, nice feature maybe, but.
Yeah, I mean, we do some integration with like third-party timesheet providing systems. So people tend to have a legacy system that they use for timesheets, so they come to us and say, can you integrate with them? So yeah, we can certainly do that. We are actually looking at introducing a timesheet option there ourselves.
Okay.
So that could be something whereby perhaps we, in the phase 1, got the site up and running, and in phase 2, once you were clear about how you wanted that to work with the client login functionality, because I think, as you say, it's a really good idea with the clients to be able themselves to check those timesheets that the candidates have posted. So yeah, so certainly I think we could look at that as a phase 2 option, or you could integrate with a third party from the start as well.
Oh, yeah.
But I like the way you're thinking there, Josh, because you're automating the whole process as much as possible, really, so that the contacts and the candidates are all almost doing a lot of the admin work for you, which makes sense.
Yeah, but everything it'd be really organized pretty well. It seems like there, having it all in one system. And,
no, sure. Well, I mean, I think that's the way it's definitely going. I mean, some of the bigger systems that perhaps corporate recruiters use, like Taleo, they do have a lot of functionality, but there's almost too much going on there. They're pretty clunky. They're pretty cumbersome. But bullhorn as well, especially, we find it really difficult to use, and people are really struggling with that. So it's a kind of balance between not overdoing the functionality so it becomes clunky and difficult to use, but equally trying to get the system to automate as much of that process as possible, really, to leave you guys free to make those cold calls, which you need to grow the business.
Yeah, as long as if it can do the basics and it does that well, then that's the main, and then everything else is kind of extra icing on the cake, I guess, so to speak. It's extra functionality, but yeah, it can get overdo it too and overcomplicate it too. And one thing was we had a question: is there a way, like a process to each of the applicants? Is there a functionality to track the progress, like say from setting up a phone call, then setting up an interview, and then introducing the candidate to the client? Is there a process, or maybe it's just a matter of tagging notes or putting tags on candidates?
You do have, for example, application statuses which you can control. So you can control the kind of workflow of an application. So it's kind of geared around a job application rather than the candidate themselves, because obviously, ideally, you want it all automated so much that you just post a job, send the job out to the job boards. That automatically gets the candidates registering. It goes out to your database, so that all you guys should really have to do is come back the next day and go through those applications. So that's obviously that's the holy grail in terms of where we want the system to get to. So here you'll see you can manage this. So you've got pre-selected, arranged telephone interview, invite for interview. You can manage those statuses, and each time it's updated, the candidate will be informed about that, as will the consultant who is dealing with their application. So you do have an option there to manage that workflow, and you can configure that how you like. So you can think about, these are the stages that we would go through with each candidate, and this is how we want to manage it. And then you can see here that the statuses can be ordered for all of those applicants as well. One thing to point out as well is that we've got the dynamic shortlisting. So, once you posted the job, you come back the next day, the job's process manager here as an example. So you've got 18 or so applications. That they're not obviously genuine, but at least you know that these guys have all applied for this job. We haven't really managed the statuses of them here, but you can really easily go through these applications. So this is you're dealing with one of the applicants here. You can change their status. You move on to the next, and you're keeping this dynamic shortlist, getting smaller and smaller until you've got your 4 or 5 top candidates, and then you might just send them all an email saying, look, we want to invite you for an interview. So you're managing that application process. So that's the way it works. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that looks nice there. Okay, that looks like a nice setup there. And is there maybe something that alerts or notifications, something like maybe a calendar, or gives you a schedule? I'm just thinking like, sometimes you contact a candidate and see where they're at. They might be working, and then they're, 1 week down the road they're finishing that project, or sometimes
Sure.
you have a client and you want to contact him, kind of bug them, every month or every couple of weeks about any new positions they might have available. And is there, or you might have to follow up, you might call and then you follow up on a phone call that you had or meeting you had before. Is there anything that keeps track of that, or would we want to do something within our own software like Outlook or something maybe?
Well, there's email notifications at each stage. So if a candidate is assigned to you, or if a candidate updates their information or their availability, you'll get notified about that. When the application status is changed, obviously the notifications go out as well, and you can track past activity. There's not a calendar function as such, because from our experience, most clients have their own calendars already that they use, so they look to integrate with those, whether it's Gmail calendar or Outlook or Mac calendar. So, it's usually the case of kind of working with those. But yeah, there's email notifications that go out at every significant step of the application process or the candidate registration process.
Okay, great. That seems to cover everything there. And do you have any questions, Jocelyn, that you know of? Or?
Not right now, no.
Okay. And I guess we'd definitely be interested then. I guess what kind of costs the system, are involved, like a one-time cost or some initial cost, and if there's recurring,
Sure.
like a monthly cost, things like that.
Yeah, sure. The way that it works is it's the recurring cost primarily, which is you're leasing the system, which is based on how many users that you guys would need to be on the system. So, for example, if it was 2 users, that would keep the costs down, but it wouldn't be a big deal to increase that. And then in terms of job boards, do you have job boards that you use primarily, or?
Well, we don't do much on the advertising front like that, but I think now we're trying to develop this division
Sure.
of the business more, so we would do that. We'd probably use Indeed.com, maybe
Sure.
Craigslist. I know there's a couple different free ones in social media, but Indeed and Monster or Career Builder, those seem to be pretty big ones that people use in the area here.
Sure. Well, I mean, websites like Indeed, Simply Hired, Glassdoor is quite good for engineers as well. And the social media channels, they're free to integrate with. Some of the bigger job boards sometimes would require a bit of work, and that's reflected in the monthly fee, because there's a bit of maintenance to make sure that the job board matching is obviously working properly at all times. I mean, I think just to give you a kind of rough indication, the monthly fee would be about $250. And then that would include, full support, dedicated, e-recruitment account manager, some development time as well thrown in there, if you do want little changes done to the website, as well as all the future upgrades, unlimited job postings, unlimited candidate registrations, and everything else. And then in terms of the setup cost, you've got, as I said, you've got three different options really. The first is a template option, where you've got a choice of 3 templates, which the cost for that is about $800 or $900 US dollars, and then that's just a simple way to get a professional site up and running with your logo and your colours and styling. But then if you wanted to create something bespoke, a new design, then that would be something where we would, our creative team would work with you to build really. And that would depend slightly on what your brief was, because you might want to, I assume that you guys would be redoing the DDI website, completely, in which case we would just need to have an idea about, what you were looking to achieve with that. But to give you an indication, the costs would be from kind of $2,500, upwards. It could go up to 8,000 or 9,000, depending on your brief, really. But obviously we're pretty competitive. We appreciate that, we want to work with you in the long term. You commit to the monthly fee, so it's just really covering our costs to get the site up and running.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That sounds good.
So hopefully that's somewhere in the kind of ballpark that we're talking about. That said, in terms of the monthly fee for the portal functionality, where you're letting your clients log in, that does slightly impact on that monthly fee. So that would be something to think about. If you definitely wanted to go for that from the start, you'd have to let us know, or we could just in future, look at maybe doing that as a phase 2 as well. Get the site up and running. It's easy enough for us to add that, but again, it's increased functionality which needs to be maintained as well. So you would need. That slightly impacts on that monthly cost if you wanted to let clients log in as well.
Okay.
But we're not going to tie you into a kind of 3-year contract. A lot of providers do that. I mean, we're happy to kind of provide a 12-month contract. You can cancel within that time if you really want to. It's the point is that the system is working really well. We want to make sure that it's working for you and growing your business. So we're tied into the long-term success really of your site.
Great.
Okay, great. Well,
cool.
Really nice system. Then I can't think of much other different functionality that we would need really. So.
All right.
Like
well, look, that sounds like it could be quite a good match. I mean, what's the next stage? Do you want me to send over a kind of draft proposal with the kind of terms and conditions? Obviously, there's a contract that we send over because it's dealing with data and everything else, which obviously you guys own, but we just have to put that in black and white so that it's all clear. What's the next stage for you guys? Do you think?
Well, I think that would be the next. We wouldn't mind getting some kind of proposal, a quote, and then we could kind of have our own internal few things here, and so we're all kind of actively developing it, trying to figure out what we need and what we don't need as far as features and things for the website, and so we're trying to do all that as soon as possible, as that as fast as we're working. So I think that's
there's always a fair amount of work. The good thing is that you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, really, because you're getting the recruitment system up and running, and you're getting the website built. So, it probably would take you a bit of time to think about what you need from the website as well as obviously getting the system customized for you as well. But there's a few things that I can send you. I can send you, for example, a questionnaire which kind of talks you through the customization questions really for Recsite in terms of your front end website, as well as the marketing that you guys are doing, as well as the back end stuff. So that might be useful for you to kind of just go through and answer those questions, and then that will produce a design brief really for us.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, would that be useful? I'll send that over as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then anything else, just give me a shout and let me know if what I can do. But I'll send over an outline proposal. I'll send you the link to the questionnaire. If you guys can get that filled out, then I can produce a full kind of web design brief and send that over to you and give you an exact costing really.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good to me. All right. Well, look, lovely to speak to you both.
Mm-hmm.
You too. Thank you.
You too.
And enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll email you tomorrow morning. I would think.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
Oliver.
Thank
Lovely
you.
speaking to you. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.